Hi everyone, welcome to another lesson. Today we're looking at General Training Task 1. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lara Ryan, and what we do in these live streams is basically I'll show you a question, I'll get you to write parts of the answer, we'll construct the answer together, and as you share your work, share your writing with me, I'll be able to point out any mistakes that you're making and any issues that you have. So by showing you those mistakes, you will be able to go and fix them, or if it's a vocab or a grammar issue that you would need to improve that area, if it's just a small mistake about the type of information you've included, you just avoid repeating that mistake. So basically what I'm going to do is show you, based on your work, what things you're doing wrong, and that will help you to improve your scores, providing you take action on the issues that I show you. That's pretty much it. It's no more complicated than that. Hi, Mohammed. Welcome. Good to see you here. So, like I said, today we're looking at General Training Task 1, General Training IELTS Task 1. So that means for any of you doing academic IELTS, this lesson is not suitable for you. I know the majority of people do academic IELTS, but nevertheless, I want to be able to support everybody with their IELTS tests. So in the previous live stream, we focused on academic task 1. Today, we're focusing on general task 1, and then the other lessons are relevant for everyone. Okay, so the first task that I have for you is to write the greeting for the letter. So this is the question. Question says, your friend has agreed to take care of your home while you're away on a business trip. But for now, we're just looking for the greeting. So I'll let you write the greeting, share it with me in the comments, and I will have some feedback for you based on that. Hi, Junaid. Welcome. Good to see you here. So the greeting for the letter is where you say, dear something. You can see at the very end of this question, it gives you the instructions. And the bottom two lines on the question say, begin your letter as follows, dear ... comma. So that's what I want you to write, the greeting. What are you going to say there? Junaid, I learned so many things from your videos. Excellent. Good to hear it. Okay, and what we're looking for here is just 2 or 3 words. Or if you have no idea what to do, just let me know in the comments and I'll be able to give you a bit more. Hi, Selig. Thank you so much for helping me out to take care of my home while I am in Azerbaijan for my vacation next month. It was very kind of you to accept my request. Okay, so we're going to have to come back. We're going to have to come back to that later, Zelig. At the moment, we just want the greeting. So, dear something. What are we going to say? Dear what? Or dear who? How are we going to write that? So, for example, in some occasions, we would write dear sir or madam. That's not suitable here. So what would we write instead? Okay, Junaid, dear Arslan. Okay, perfect. Well, actually, not perfect, but it's what I'm looking for. So let's copy that into the question, and we'll start from here. Okay. Now, dear Arslan, you need a comma. And then the next bit would be on a new line. Now, just to begin with, the letter is for a friend. So just writing the first name is appropriate. So we wouldn't say Mr. Arslan or the first name and the surname. We just want dear and the person's first name followed by a comma. Now, I hope you're doing great. And all your family members are also good and bouncy. Okay. So nice little informal phrase there. Oh, excuse me, I'm in the way. I didn't realize I was blocking the screen. Okay. I hope you're doing great and all your family members are also good and bouncy. Now, this will not bring down your score, this sentence, isn't it? It's not wrong to include this sentence, but the thing is, it actually won't improve your score either. So the concern then is, if you're writing something that doesn't improve your score, technically it's not bringing down your score, but also you only have 20 minutes. So much better would be not to include this type of thing. It's not even counted as part of your word count. It's something that you could memorize and just write down regardless of what the question is. So this won't help to improve our score. And technically it doesn't bring down our score, but because we have less time to check our vocab and our grammar mistakes, less time to plan our essay and write our essay, it could impact our score because we've used the time ineffectively. So I'm actually going to delete that sentence. So I'm going to take that. Excuse me. I'm going to take that. I'm going to delete it. Okay. So let me just tidy up the question here so we have a bit more space on the screen. So I'll just get the instructions out of the way and we're left with the core part of the question. Now, the second thing that we want to do is we want to address the first prompt. The first prompt says, thank him or her for agreeing to help. Now, we're going to write one paragraph about that, thanking him or her for agreeing to help. So that will be our first paragraph. We'll write a paragraph that's about 60 words long, roughly, not exactly, about 60 words long. But what a lot of candidates do incorrectly is they kind of talk in general for most of the paragraph, and then at the end they thank the person. But what I want to do in our letter to make sure we're fully developing our ideas is we're going to put our main idea in the first sentence. So we've been asked to thank them. We're going to do it in the first sentence of our paragraph about this prompt. So what I want you to do is just write the first sentence of paragraph 1. Now, we'll come back and we will look at it. We will look at the rest of the paragraph later. But my concern is that we might not address the first prompt directly if we wait until later. So I want to make sure that we do have it, that we have said thank you to him or her for agreeing to help. So share with me in the comments the first sentence we can write for paragraph 1. Hi there, welcome to the lesson. Hi Garvinder, very good. I hope you're doing good too. Dear pal is on. Is okay. Dear pal, no. I mean, unless you have a friend whose name is Pal. I've never heard that name before. Safer just to stick with a name. Hi Nishat, welcome. Good to see you here. Ibrahim, hello. Welcome to the lesson. Okay, we have a response from Junaid. Thank you for helping me out and getting rid of my bad time as I am facing financial issues, and you helping me to get bread and some medicine for my family. No. You've misunderstood the question. So the question is said to take care of your home. To take care of your home does not mean to take care of your family. What we mean in this is like, you're away, there's nobody in your house, and there are some small jobs that you need somebody to do, like, I don't know, like maybe just make sure there are no problems, maybe water the plants, potentially take care of the dog, but they wouldn't say for taking care of the home. They would have said taking care of the dog. So I'm wrong to say that. But basically, someone taking care of your home is the building, the apartment or the house, or wherever you live. So it's not about taking care of your family in this situation. So you've misunderstood the question. The question says home, meaning the building, not home, meaning your family. So that's not relevant, Junaid. And that would actually end up with, you'd end up with a band 4 or 5 for task achievement, simply because you didn't understand the question. So what you need to think of then is, why did you not understand the question? So, the mistake has been made and that's fine, but why did you make the mistake? By thinking about that, you can think about how are you going to avoid repeating it in future. So if it's because you didn't read the question carefully, well, then you need to read the question more carefully in future. However, it might be the situation where you, don't have the vocabulary to understand the question. And if that's the case, then you need to go and study vocab. So just try to understand where your mistake came from and try to fix that problem. Okay, Salik, as discussed with you over, we wouldn't say mobile, we just say over the phone. As I discussed with you over the phone, that's quite formal as well. So part of your task achievement score is based on using the correct tone. And if you include formal language in an informal letter like this one, your highest task achievement score, the highest possible score for task achievement, will be a 6. Now, it might be lower. It's possible to get a lower score than 6 because you might make some other bigger mistakes. But by saying something like, as I discussed with you over the phone, it's very formal and not suitable for a letter to a friend. Okay, so what did you say next? I will be on vacation next week until the end of this month and staying at the Caspian Plaza in Azerbaijan. You know that my house is always a part of my family. That I'm not sure what that means. It's not clear what that means. My house is a part of my family. That's not clear. But the bigger issue at the moment is the prompt has asked you to thank your friend for agreeing to help. And in this, you haven't thanked your friend. There is no part of that paragraph where you say thank you for helping, or thank you for agreeing to help, something like that. So that's why, instead of asking you to write the first paragraph, I've asked you to write the first sentence of paragraph 1. So instead of just letting you write the full paragraph, I want to focus on the very first sentence. And in the very first sentence, I want you to say thank you for agreeing to help. You don't have to use that vocabulary. But the reason that I'm so strict with this is I see candidates over and over again where they don't get to the main point of the paragraph until the very end. And that means no development. So if you respond to each prompt, if you do what each prompt asks you to do, that will get you to a band 6 for task achievement. But if you're looking to get a band 7 or a band 8 in task achievement, you need to give that main idea and you need to talk about it. You need to develop it. So if you wait until the end to say thank you, well, then you haven't developed it. So just be really careful to include it at the start, and then you'll be more confident that you're doing what you need to do for a high task achievement score. So start with the thank you part. How can I fix it? Formal or informal? So it's basically down to how you're learning vocab and grammar structures as well. But the difficult thing about task 1 for general training is most candidates or most students will have spent years and years learning vocabulary, and they'll learn the meaning and they'll learn, how to use it grammatically within the sentence, and maybe some collocations, maybe not, it depends. A lot of students don't. But what very, very few, if not no students do, is learn if the words are formal or informal. So you're now in a situation where you've learned a few thousand words, but you don't know which ones are formal or informal. You can do research in the dictionary. You can get feedback from a teacher who will tell you that was formal, that was informal, like we did just now. But I mean, trying to find out which ones are and aren't, it takes a long time. And it's always based on, like, where did you find the word? What was the context? If it was in a newspaper versus if it was in like a sitcom, like where you learn the structures and where you learn the phrases, that would be a good indication of whether they're formal or informal. Also, when we're talking about structures, the structures for formal language tend to be longer. If you'd say, like, can you help me, would be informal, versus would it be possible for you to help me would be formal. So you'll find that the formal ones are much, much longer as well. Okay, Junaid, thank you for agreeing to help me while I am far away from my home. As I told you, I am on my business trip. Please don't forget to water plants. Make sure to close the backyard door. Okay. Now, yes and no. The start of this is good because you're thanking the person. But if you look at prompt number 2 on the question, prompt number 2 says, describe what you need him or her to do. So you've moved on to the information we need for the second paragraph. So what that means is your first idea is underdeveloped because you haven't written a 60-word paragraph about thanking the person. And then when you get to paragraph 2, you've already said what you needed to say. So now you're going to end up repeating yourself or trying to think of new things, and the organization isn't quite right. So just focus completely on the first prompt. Thank you. So I'm going to copy the first half of this. So let me just get that, Junaid. Okay, and we'll add that to what we have here so far. So like I said here, don't forget to water the plants and make sure to close the backyard door. I'm going to delete that because that's what we need for the next prompt. Thank you for agreeing to help me while I am far away from my home. That we wouldn't say anything like that. As I told you, I'm on my business trip. You've already told the person. So naturally speaking, and I know sometimes you're thinking, well, I'm writing to an examiner and the examiner might not understand what the situation is, but you shouldn't write to try and explain to the examiner. You should write to your friend in a way that your friend already knows, if they've agreed to help you, you've obviously asked them already in the past. So focus on this imaginary friend that you're writing to and keep the context from what we have in the question. Your friend has agreed. They can't agree until after you ask them. So you'll say something like this. Thank you for agreeing to help me while I am on my business trip. Okay, and we can use contractions. Perfect. Okay, so that's our first sentence. Now, the difficult part, we need to write a full 60-word paragraph on this. So our first sentence is 13 words. So we basically have another 47 words to write. And that's this is one of the more difficult prompts. When you have to write a 60-word paragraph about saying thank you, you've already said thank you. What else is there to say? But regardless of that, that's the task. That's the task you've been given. So you need to write about 60 words saying thank you. Now, so far we have said thank you. So what I want you to do, now that we've written the first sentence of paragraph 1, I want you to show me how would you develop paragraph 1. So you have to continue saying thank you. You have to continue talking about that point, about thanking the person, but a full 60 words. While I'm waiting for you all to do that, let me just share my link, a link here for my free live feedback lessons on Zoom. So you'll see the link there in the comments in YouTube or Facebook. You'll also find the link in the video description. And basically, those are free lessons I have on Zoom for my subscribers. So click on that link and sign up, and you'll be able to join me on Zoom. I have a lesson tomorrow on Zoom. You'll be able to join me there and get more support with your IELTS preparation. Hi, Faiza. Welcome. Good to see you here. Hi, Samina. Just one point as well is we've been in this lesson nearly 25 minutes, and so far we have written 15 words. So the word per minute count on this lesson is pretty slow. You know, in your real IELTS test, you'll have 20 minutes to write the full essay, and we've spent 25 minutes writing basically a very, very small fraction of what you need to write. So just keep in mind, if it is taking you this long to put your essays together, that's not going to be fast enough for your IELTS test. Of course, you're going to focus on the quality first. You know, in the same for reading and listening and writing, you shouldn't be trying to do everything within the restrictions, the time restrictions that you'll have in the exam. You should focus on improving the quality first. But I would just be careful. You know, if your exam is coming up soon and it takes you, 25 minutes to write a few sentences, you're going to have to address that issue as well. Okay, Junaid, thank you for agreeing to help me while I'm on my business trip. As you helped me a lot in the past and you did a great job to take care of my home, I really appreciate that and hope you will help me in the future as well. Okay, awesome. So that's exactly what we want. You're just continue talking about the point where you're saying thank you. Yeah, exactly. I think when someone agrees to say thank you, I would draw attention to, like, thank you for helping me. You've helped me in the past as well. You know, you're great. Thank you so much. But I hope you will help me in the future. That kind of sounds like you might be taking advantage of the person. I don't think they'd really appreciate that comment. If they're already helping you, and you haven't gone on your business trip yet, and you're already talking about, the the fact you're probably going to ask them for more help. I wouldn't include that bit. Okay. So let's say, as you have already helped me a lot in the past, and you always do a great job taking care of my home. I really appreciate what you do for me so much. Okay, so we're getting places. I would say, maybe a little bit short. So we're going to need to add something extra. So we're at 46. We need another about 14, 15 words. So I'd say something like that. Make sure to ask me next time you need anything, and I'll definitely be there for you. Okay, so just to say something like, you're helping me, and I'll definitely be there to help you when you need something. That's quite a natural thing to say. Okay, so that's our first paragraph finished, and that brings us to the second prompt. So the second prompt says, describe what you need him or her to do. Okay, so my next task for you is to write the first sentence of paragraph 2, and the first sentence being the exact response to the prompt, a direct response to the prompt. Describe what you need him or her to do. Give them the exact task that you want them to do in the first. And what we don't want, and this is something that happens quite a lot, what we don't want is a 60-word paragraph that's a list of about 20 things you want the person to do. It shouldn't be a big list of many, many things. It should be perhaps 1 or 2 things, and then more development or more descriptions maybe about how to do it or when to do it, or more instructions. So rather than having a big list of things, keep it short, keep the list maybe 1, maximum 2, and then develop it. Okay, so for now, all I want is that first sentence and a direct response to describe what you need him or her to do. Ibrahim, this is General Training IELTS Task 1 we're looking at today. Word limit is not more than 20 to 22 words on YouTube. I know, yeah, that's not very convenient for sure. On Facebook, on my Facebook page, this live stream is on Facebook right now as well, and they don't have the same limit in the comments. Can we write letters in paragraphs? If yes, then how many paragraphs can we write in 150 words? I'm not sure, Samina, I think you made a mistake. You said, can we write letters? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So if you give me more information, I'll definitely help you out. But right now, I don't fully understand the question. Can we write a letter in paragraphs? Yeah, absolutely. You have to write a letter in paragraphs for your coherence and cohesion score. If you're not organizing your writing into paragraphs, you're going to stop yourself from getting a high task achievement score. High coherence and cohesion score. Okay, Junaid. So there are some sort of things you have to do first, is to make sure to water plants that are in my left side of my home, right beside the cutting machine. Okay, so some language mistakes, but we're off to the right. We're off to we're getting we're focused on the right things. All right, so let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this as the first sentence here. So there are some things. Now, we wouldn't say you have to do. You have to do finds as if like they have no choice, but they're agreeing to help you. So it's not that they have to do it, it's that, you know. So there are some things I need you to do rather than you have to. You to do for me. Firstly, we're very polite when we're asking people to help us. So we're going to say, firstly, please make sure to water the plants that are on the left side of my home. They are right beside the cutting machine. Isn't really the cutting machine isn't a, it's not a word. So they're right beside the something. Okay. Now, earlier on, what I was saying is we want to have our first idea in the first sentence. So what we want them to do. So let's say it's just water the plants. Let's keep it simple. Maybe that's the only thing that we want them to do. So let's say there is really only one thing I need you to do for me, which is to please make sure to water the plants that are on the left side of my home, left side of my house. Okay. So let's just leave it at that. I'll make this part of the letter just smaller so we can see the question at the same time. Okay. So now we need to expand this. We have to write, like I said before, a full 60 words about this prompt. So we've said we want them to water the plants. Now just give more information about that. At the moment, we have 33 words, so we need about 27 more. So that's my next prompt for you, is how can we finish this? It seems like we're not going to have time to finish the full letter. So what we'll do is we'll finish this paragraph and then we'll see what to do at the end. Okay, so that's your next task. How can we develop the rest of this paragraph? And we're looking at this here. We want them to water the plants. What else can we say to fully develop this idea? It will make the letter lengthy. So Samina is asking about writing paragraphs. No, it won't make the letter lengthy. I mean, the number of paragraphs you have doesn't dictate the number of words you write. So the question says to write at least 150 words, but we're going to write about 180 words to make sure we can get a good task achievement score. So we're going to divide that up into 3 paragraphs. Each paragraph has about 60 words. And then you can see there are 3 prompts in the question. So that'll be 1 paragraph, which is 80 words, excuse me, 1 paragraph, which is 60 words long for each of the 3 prompts. No problem. You're very welcome. Okay, so here's a response. Please note that I used to water the plants regularly every 2 days. No matter how you will do that, but I will left all tools you need next to the back door. Great. Okay, so let me just jump onto Facebook and we'll add that. To our essay. 1 second now. Okay. Oh, really lovely way of teaching. I've learned a lot from your lessons. Thank you. I copied the wrong message. Excuse me. Oh. Okay. All right. Please note. Now this is too formal. Again, remember we're writing a letter to a friend, so please note would be quite a formal way to say. Say like, just to let you know, I usually water the plants. Now, we would say regularly or every 2 days, but we just need one. So not regularly and every 2 days together. Just say I water them regularly or I water them every 2 days. I think water every 2 days is more specific. So it doesn't really matter which days you do that. Which days you do it. But I will leave all the tools you need. I'd say like the ladder and the bucket next to the back door. Okay. So we now have a 76-word paragraph. So if anything, that's a little bit long. Okay. So just like that, you would continue with paragraph 3, where you would respond to the third prompt in the very first sentence. So just like we've done in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, a direct response to the prompt in the very first sentence of paragraph 3. So explain how he or she can contact you while you're away. So you'll give that direct response in the first sentence, and then you will continue with the development so that you have about a 60-word essay. Okay, so my last task for you all today, we're not going to do paragraph 3, is to tell me how would you sign off this letter. Okay, now there's one way to sign off when it's formal and there's one way to sign off when it's informal. This is a letter to a friend, so it's informal. So this is the last task for today. How can we sign off here? Thank you, Samina. Thanks for the feedback. Hi, Shoal. Welcome. We're just finishing up here now. We're on the last task of the lesson, and it's to sign off. So I'll just wait one more minute. I want to give you guys a chance because, you know, if you do it incorrectly, then you'll remember your mistake. Whereas if you just look at me doing it, you're less likely to learn, and it's just not as an effective a practice. So I'm gonna get you to at least try it yourselves first. If nobody responds, that's no problem. I'll just show you directly how to do it. So we'll just wait another few seconds before moving on. Okay, we're not getting many responses, not many students here today, but that's pretty typical for general training. Tends to be less popular. Okay. Sign off with best wishes. That's informal. If it was formal, we could say something like kind regards, or maybe yours sincerely for formal. But in this case, we're going to go with best wishes. And we just put down our first name. We don't put down our first name and our surname, just our first name. Okay, so we'll put down Junaid. Junaid wrote pretty much most of this letter. So just finish best wishes, first name. If you put down your first name and your surname, that's not suitable. You should just go with your first name. And that is pretty much how to write a task 1 letter for general training IELTS. The main thing is the main mistakes that we saw. So obviously we saw some vocab and some grammar mistakes. That's pretty typical. But the ones that you need to be careful with for your task achievement is that your ideas are relevant, that you're not mixing up the information in the wrong paragraphs, that you're not using informal language in a formal letter or formal language in an informal letter, those types of things. Making sure that you're fully developing your idea and not just mentioning your idea more towards the end of your paragraph. Junaid, if you need any sort of help or things, you can just call me on my number, which I had given you when we were in college. Okay, yeah, perfect. So you're using punctuation incorrectly. You're throughout this lesson, Junaid, you're using capital letters where you don't need them. So you can be careful with that as well. Okay, so that's it for today, everybody. If you're signing up for my free live feedback lessons, you can find the link in the video description, and I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be back next time. Okay, take care of yourselves. Best of luck to any of you with tests coming up.